Thank you for coming on into the live and sharing your essence with me in this eternal moment of which we all share an inextricable and inexorable part. Thank you for doing your part, for coming on in each and every day, and we'll do the same without wasting a single second of your time. Bada bing, bada boom, we go into the charts. So, sorry, we're jumping the gun here. We have this open before, but Bitcoin basically going sideways, 101. Now, it depends on how much leverage you use, whether that move to the downside was massive or not. Essentially unchanged from a day ago by a slight percent to the downside. There was a 1.51% percentile to the downside beneath the point of control that we went outlined for you yesterday, coming to reclaim some of the liquidity perhaps on the high block liquidation points. Let's go ahead and look at high block now. Well, what is high block? Well, people lock their liquidity into the charts to get burnt to a crisp by the market maker for not using a stop loss, and we get to see where those crispy characters are using high block capital. So let's go into the 1 minute time frame now. Like, I don't know, they changed this one now too. I don't understand how I can change the default. They changed the values. It used to be, maybe they're just forgetting a lot to time here, but we lost a lot to Father Time, so we're basically just seeing these pools, these $96 million pools, and the other ones we outlined in the past, 126 million, and the other 200 million, and the others that were in the range that we dropped out of are now lost to Father Time, so only seeing the imbalance of to the tune of shorts in the 400 million range. So we have to go to the higher time frame to see that, and that exists here on the 7-day. So let's make sure that the max liquidity is being displayed, not relative. So in this case, we have an imbalance to the upside on the 7-day time frame to the tune of, in this entire range, each one of these is 2 billion. So you have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, and this entire range about 20. So you have about $40 billion imbalance to the upside. You do have some down below, but single digits in billions, more looking to come up to the 26,250 region and beyond at 26,7, and possibly up to this region. It's sparse from the 27.1 to the 27.9 region. So if they do maintain 26,750, then they could be aiming at the 28K region, but until that time, frugally looking at 26.7 might be your target, and those are the ones we had, those pools, those $200 million pools that we had laid out for you over the last few days. Hopefully my mic volume is coming to you clearly. And if we look at the monthly time frame, the monthly time frame is showing double digits down below, so we can go up to stop out some of these shorts only to come back down again. And we already know where the 3-month and the 6-month lie. We have these thick pools down below in the 23K region. A lot of people getting bearish in tone, as the only YouTube videos I'm seeing are bearish. So it's kind of interesting. Similar things have happened. $181 billion at 24.3. 2-year time frame has a 242 billion at 23.6. So coming down to hit that at some point might not be unreasonable to think. So let's go into the finance chart and take a look at what we see here. So this impulse retrace idea on the daily time frame means until you can get above the 2763 region, then you're basically bound for more downside, and we have yet to hit these pools, which would coincide with some of these pools we talked about on the higher time frame. For example, $24.3, $23.7. Yeah, that entire 23.5 region would take you, on the 2-year pool. Let's see. 23.6, yeah, that would clear that entire pool at 242 billion. So coming down to this 24.6 region, the 1 level, if we do go lower, wouldn't be unreasonable to think. But the one thing we're seeing right now is something interesting on my oscillators. Let's go ahead and throw it on now. Heads up display on. Link in the description for more. MomentumMaster.info, ladies and gentlemen. Scroll down to features, toggle everything to see what it looks like, or you can look at each thing as it comes into prominence. Right now, the thing coming into prominence is this rocket. This was traced over price action at 15K before we peeled out in November. So this is interesting to note. When these rocket ships appear, it is when 32 different indicators across 7 time frames align. And so if we look at what's happening now, you don't see it now on the daily time frame because it permeates the time frames and locks in on whatever candle close it happens to show up on. And this happened to close without changing on the 4-hour and as well on the hourly. So does this mean we will get a little bit of a bounce here? I'm expecting it. These rocket ships are pretty accurate to say the least, so we could be getting this pull up to that 26.4 region that we talked about on the 7-day, which was also on the 1 minute not too long ago. Coming up to that target at the 26.434 region would put you, there's actually the 26.7 region looks to be the hottest target. 26.7 would put you up above the 0.5 equilibrium of this impulse to the downside. If we move it on lower, .6.7 will put you at the golden pocket of this impulse to break to the downside. If we move this up higher, that brings us higher, but let's just keep it frugally there, see what happens. Okay, so going quickly through the time frames here on the daily. So until you can break that 27K region, once again, that 27K is going to be the line in the sand for a continuation, possible shoulder, head, and shoulder to come down to that A level at some point, just to note. So whatever bounce we get, unless it's sustained and breaking these clouds, then we will not necessarily see more upside. Here on the daily, we were looking at this curvature. It came down a little bit more with that little dump yet last night. So we got to reassess this. This is just insinuating continuation down idea on the daily time frame. Daily time frame did break below the 50 region on the KD lines. Williams coming down into the oversold region, low volume over the last 4 days. It picked up a little bit over the last 2, but overall still low volume. No significant candle yet. So if we go to the 22-hour time frame, which will be closing in 40 minutes, we have this curvature which is insinuating upside, which also has this potential on the 12-hour. So we're getting this shift of the 12-hour cloud and a potential rise in volume coming in here. Why is it doing that? And if we can close this out and start to cross this back up and dig our way out, then you can see this stab up into this region. 12-hour time frame also coming down here for the last leg on the KD. We'll see how the stochastic resets in 39 minutes. Most likely it's going to come down completely, as will the Williams, and then you'll have the 12-hour on your side. Now if you go to the 22, it's also going to be on your side, most likely starting to curve up here. So you could be getting the insinuation of a 22-hour play here. Williams in a nice spot, everything money flow significantly beneath the RSI, suggesting you get a money flow surge to the upside. Now as everyone's bearish, putting out those bearish overtone thumbnails, this would be the perfect time to surge it. 6-hour time frame, getting a rising sun event, KD lines crossing. Volume has yet to enter. Money flow is slightly above the RSI, but looking to breach 50. Can the RSI take us there on the 6-hour time frame? Baselines have meandered around here. We got a cross up, cross down, cross up. It's flirting with the idea the baselines are beneath the price. This is what we like to see on the baselines. What are the baselines? They're your first sign of reversal. You can read about them on the website, and then you can see we are 2 time frames overbought right now. Let's turn on the stochastic health. Boom. So in case you're in a hurry or on your phone, you can see these 4 time frames as well. The 5 is overbought, 15 overbought, hourly getting to be overbought, momentum wanting to come to the upside, 4-hour in conjunction with the hourly, which is what we were talking about yesterday. Will the 1 hour take a move to the upside or not? Basically, after yesterday, we were down in this region yesterday, basically exactly where we're at right now. We were talking about the hourly playing out. It did kind of come up to the same range we opened up at, and then got a rejection off the cloud. So this cloud is what you're looking to breach if you're and close candles out above if you're going to take it to the upside. So you'd be coming up above this and basically flipping the cloud just like any of the time frames, because it's fractal in nature. So you would want to see some conviction break this super trend for anything real to be inbound. Interesting place to switch the KD lines up here on the hourly. If you go to the 15 is overbought, but you got it above the cloud here. Can you maintain? You had a lot of volume during the New York Open, a lot of volatility, up and down, and essentially just went in this range-bound motion. The interesting thing was when we created some bullish divergence on the money flow here on the 15, just as we got those rocket ships which locked in securely and are starting to take us to the upside. So rocket ships, ladies and gentlemen, and they will basically lock in with what the stochastic value was at that time. So you can go back and put it in your notes. 5, 15, 1 hour, 4 hour, we're at these RSI and stochastic values as it started to take itself to the upside. So what we're looking for is still a repeat of the idea we were talking about yesterday. Can we make it to these pools and beyond? So let's just say you make it to that region and you retest off the cloud, and you're just one of those frugal type traders that's waiting for that perfect entry. Now you would be waiting for that kiss off the cloud with a stop into profit, and then you'd basically be looking for that confirmation burst above here. So it would have to get above this level and come back and hold it within a microstructure. And then you can move your stop loss a little bit into profit and just let it do its thing. So waiting for this hourly to play out. Does the hourly take us up above here for the Asian session? London pulls back for London, and then we look for a New York entry model. We'll see. Let's go into the dominance. Dominance also oversold, looking to come up. USDT dominance was getting overbought. People wanted to get into their trades. They did not come down to that region we were talking about, but it did come down from that point. It's been holding this range here. So are people going to enter their USDT into trades? Total 3. Total 3, more ambiguous here, getting oversold and overbought across the medium time frames, essentially going sideways. Could be an inverse Bart Simpson to the upside though, if Bitcoin does decide to move. If we look at the DXY did make it to that region of the fib level we were talking about. If we go to that here on the daily, we were talking about this 2 level at 104.75. Where did we get that math? Well, down here, to be exact, at this impulse retrace continuation idea. So based on this back here, this information, this impulse and retrace on the daily time frame contained the math of what the intention was within that impulse retrace, where their target could possibly be upwards in the 2 region. And we talked about coming to take this high range liquidity zone, and they did. So the dollar going up while Bitcoin holds is insinuating something about the Bitcoin holding a range that it wants to stay at for whatever reason. We were watching the NQ last night kind of clear a region. So yeah, interesting. So the next 30 minutes will be an interesting thing to see where all these stochastic things we just laid out for you will reset. So if you're watching this later, you can compare them after the close and see how it reset. This 50 below 50 level at 49, did it go like 30 points down from here? Like, did it stay even? Did the KD lines cross back up at the 50 region? In the future, if you're watching this, you can see from that zone when we go over it. So hopefully it's still useful even after the fact. And if you have the Momentum Master Suite, then you don't even need to necessarily watch the live, because you'll be getting these rocket ships direct to your phone using the dynamic alert system that tell you when all these time frames are overbought and oversold. So you don't need a guru, you just need to be plugged in properly. All right, so yeah, if we surge up to the super trend here on the hourly and then get a rejection and come back, this would be a healthy play to see. We did not get that yesterday. We were talking about it back here, and we got an immediate drop down, came back up, bearishly retested the cloud, dropped down, came back up, stayed beneath the cloud the entire time. So this is the second attempt really since dropping out here. And we were talking about how this was basically a rejection idea of how you see the cloud breaking. It doesn't matter which side you're looking at, you see this breakthrough, retest the cloud, continue. And we're just looking for the same thing, breakthrough, retest the cloud, continue. And shoulder, head, and possible shoulder out. And then that would also be your measured move. See, if you were to take this one even, we're just being frugal here, but you could even extend it depending on the time frame you're in. So if you go to the 4 hour, for example, oops, this could be your very bottom and top and then bottom, and then it will give you some different math. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. We're not going to go in too deep. I tend to see things clearer when I don't overthink things too much. So we'll just value your time and my time as much as we can. But that was a pretty nice triple, quadruple rocket ship here, which is what locked it in on the higher time frames, and it never saw a downside from that point. Pretty accurate, back tested for 2 years, so should be. Boom. The stochastic array, never before seen formula. Booyah. Locked in on the 5, the 15, the hourly, and the 4 hour, all the way up to the 4 hour. I tried looking at it on the 6 hour. It did not manage to close on the 6 hour, so within that 6 hour, it got bought back up and then closed the 6 hour, so it didn't stay on the chart, but it stayed on the chart up to the 4 hour time frames, and the 4 hour locked it in. Let's see where it goes. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Thank you for coming on into the live and sharing your essence with me in this eternal moment of which we all share, an inextricable and inexorable part. Thank you for doing your part, for coming on in.